Hi, Gary O'Brien here with another HolyCore video. I thought I'd just take a moment to show some of our wonderful control panels that will be in the HolyCore. The ubiquitous LCARS or Okudagrams designs are one of the key visual elements of the next generation era, and we want to make sure that we do them justice in our film. As a huge Trek fan, I've been experimenting with and making these types of panels since childhood, and I know how to get an authentic look that rings true to what we saw on screen. We glimpsed some of these in our first film, Chance Encounter, but the HolyCore requires that we see a lot more of them. To make them, we first have to design the console itself, figure out its dimensions, and consider how and what type of light source we should use. For the HolyCore, a lot of the time we'll be able to have a light on a stand a foot or two behind the panel. Others will need an internal light source though. Once we know how we'll light it, we can decide how large the plexiglass part should be. Then we design the graphics themselves to fit that screen, and this can take a while as it's important to fill the whole space while still getting the proportions correct and also following the certain rules to keep it looking like a real control interface and not just some generic layout that doesn't feel logical or authentic. The scale needs to be accounted for as well, as the buttons need to end up being the right size when printed out in the real world, large enough to be pressed by an actual finger. One cool thing, and after using lots of reference materials and frame grabs, I've already recreated the Replica graphic that will feature in our Ready Room set. All these graphics we create then end up as high resolution 300 dpi images that are sent away to a professional company who print our work specifically designed to be backlit. The plexiglass is cut to size by the manufacturers and then delivered, and it has to fit very accurately into the wooden console. Any light leaking around the edges is unacceptable, so it has to be really precise. We then have to cut out the artwork and mount it squarely and securely to the plexiglass itself around the edges, and then sometimes we need to add a few Bling Keys behind the panel as well to add to the authenticity. So when we do this, we do it by making a wooden or plastic mount for some LEDs that fits the shape of the graphic part we want to blink. We then wire them up to a circuit that controls the blink rate and the pattern. It can get very fiddly to mount it, and the wiring soon gets pretty complicated. It's also important and quite tricky to keep the edges around the graphic shapes sharp by making sure no light is able to leak through from the main source into the area that the LEDs light up. If it does, it spoils the illusion of a functioning panel. But if it all goes well, you end up with a great and very authentic looking Okudagram that rings true to the ones we saw in the TV series. So the panels are just one small element we need to consider in order to make the HolyCore the best it can be. We're really hopeful we'll get the opportunity to bring these wonderful sets to the screen for us all to enjoy. But none of it will happen if we don't reach our funding target by March the 31st. We've got a great Star Trek film before us, just itching to be made, but we need your help to make it happen. So please pledge to the Kickstarter and spread the links and videos, because we can't crowdfund without a crowd. Stay tuned for more HolyCore news and updates coming soon. Thank you very much.
Please like and subscribe, and you can find the Kickstarter details in the description below. You can also watch Chance Encounter by clicking on the box below me. Thanks.